So this here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Just on this street alone. Now remember, we're between a head shop and an hockey store, right? That's open 24 hours, I think, anyway. Watch these cars. Watch these cars. Back to back. Two illegal U-turns. Look at this. Now, I'm asking you, where are the cops? If there were beat cops or there were cops doing regular patrols around here, none of this would be going on. But yet they did away with cruising night on this strip because of the loitering, the noise, the drugs, the alcohol, the constant standing in front of stores, just to let this happen, and worse. And if I let you watch long enough, you'll see a skater. This is a bike path here. These two lines here. It's a bike path over there. It's also for wheelchairs and people that handicap accessible or whatever. But you'll see them skate by, just as they were maneuvering. A couple minutes into after their maneuver here, and they do it constantly. This is not a one-off thing. This is look, all the time. All the time. I thought he was going to do a U-turn. There's the skater. He was on rollerblades or something. So now these two cars are literally sitting under me right now. I don't know if you can hear. Well, they were playing a radio a minute ago. But they treat this like Atlantic City Boardwalk. So like I said, you got the head shop about 3 doors down from me on this side. You got the hockey store up on the corner this way. And I'm smack dab in between them. You got the rehab over here with all the recovering semi or supposed to be recovering addicts right here and drunks. It's more of a transition house than it is a rehab. It's like a halfway house. This car oh no, that car pulled up afterwards. That's right. So here goes. Is that somebody walking or is he skating still? I think he's skating. Or he's on one of those push with one foot type things, like a skateboard with a handle on it. I don't know what they call them. Scooters, skidoos, whatever. Can you hear this? And this is all night long, and I'm talking till like 4, sometimes 6 in the morning. All weekend. Friday night it starts at dark. It don't end until Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? 4 o'clock in the morning. And where are the cops? What are they doing about it? Absolutely nothing. And I'm talking, it gets way louder than this. This is mild compared to what it usually is. Is there a cop out there now? I thought I seen police lights. But now we're back live. I'm actually recording this. You can see it's red. And it's clicking off down the bottom. See, it's hard to see because my phone shines, makes it, I can't explain it, but it makes it see the light. It actually blinds the phone. I don't know how else to make it darker so you can see it better, but even backing up doesn't do it. But all these are right down below. And again, at one time, this was a decent neighborhood. You could go to the Chinese store, get chicken wings or French fries or fried dumplings. They make all kinds of stuff. Now, it's just you need to hire a bodyguard to walk down to the local mom and pop shop. It's ridiculous. If they ain't trying to borrow money off you, they're trying to rob you or stalk you or harass you or they ask for a cigarette, you give them a cigarette. Can I get 3 more for later? No, I'm not here to change your diaper. They get their disability checks, if they get them, and they smoke them up with crack or heroin or fentanyl or whatever the first of the month. The second, they're broke, so the next 28 days, they're bumming change. I mean, it's ridiculous. So you're literally taking care of grown-ups, you know what I mean? If you do give in to their can I get. I've had people come up to me in the store while I'm paying for my items. Can you pay for this for me? No. Standing there in pajamas, hair looking like buckwheat, wrapped in a freaking fleece blanket. I mean, what is the matter with you? Looking like they just got off the, crack pipe. No. There's some more people walking around now. Again, this one's live. The one I showed you prior to this, them pulling in, was pre-recorded. Like I said, they just pulled in, and I stopped the video to show you what they did, and now they're still sitting here right here. The difference is this is live footage, recording it. You can hear this. Like I said, it's all weekend long. Sometimes during the week too, but weekends seem to escalate. You know what I mean? It just amplifies. It'll be sporadic during the week. You'll get moments of this, and then they'll go away because of them two stores being where they're at. And I'm not knocking a head shop. I'm not saying he can't sell his wares or do whatever they're doing. But the Aki store, the township should make them close at a decent hour, like 11 o'clock at night. We have a Wawa at the end of town here that's open 24 hours a day. And I don't know if the grocery stores, but some of them used to stay open 24 hours a day. Now, Redner's closes at 10, I believe. Rite Aid, same. I think they're closed at 10. So the only place, see, there's another bike going up the street. I don't know if you caught that. It's too bright right in here. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out how to, maybe like that. If I keep it down low, you can see. No, that darkens it too much. Anyhow, we do have a Wawa that's open 24 hours. And we have a couple Turkey Hills and some other stores. Yes, they are a distance away, but they drive. You can see they drive. Why they have to hang right here, I don't know. My guess is, and it's an educated guess, is the Aki store, like any other Aki store in New York and other places, are selling weed out of it or some kind of drawback item. A hang item. I'm hanging here to get the item I want type thing. Now, can I prove that they're dealing drugs? No. I mean, it's speculation, but I don't think it's the Mars bars or the Kit Kat bars that are drawing the crowds, or the awesome energy drinks. I think they're coming here for a purpose, and the police ought to know this. I mean, a rookie cop would know this. So you can hear it's loud enough to begin with. Yeah, that's why they stopped cruising night here, because of all the loud, souped up cars and all that. They were allowed to cruise till about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, when they had to quit on the weekends, Friday and Saturday night. Usually you didn't get a lot of cruising Sunday, but that was sporadic too during the week. Sometimes cruisers would come out. But weekends, it really, But this is ridiculous. Go home. Go scream in your own neighborhood. Indoor voice. Grow up. It's ridiculous. Nobody over, 50 wants to hear you. Or your music, or your car, or, Now I know why people retire to Florida when they're old. And they have communities down there. If they hear somebody squeal their tires, here comes the cops. Or a loud radio. Now I get it. Here. And this goes on all the time. You want to have a conversation, find a bistro. Go to the library and sit down at a table, and you can hash out your grievances there with your buddies or whatever you're doing. Find a bar. I think it's one of the problems. They took out all the bars. They busted all the bars and violated all the bars to where they all had to shut down in town. Now look. Now they're drinking at home, and there's more domestics, and they're sitting in the street doing it. Now we have beer gardens where the beers are $15 a beer, and you can, sip a beer for 3 hours for $15. So it's pretty much impossible to get drunk unless you're, Daddy Warbucks. You got tons of money, and you can buy, 4 to 8 beers for $150. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, Pottstown's always been loud, it's always been rowdy, but it's never been this troublesome. It's never been like there's more shooting, stabbings. I mean, just craziness going on. There was just like a semi fist fight out here just last week, this past week. I mean, right below my windows in the middle of the street. Guy was harassing some woman and her husband in the street. So I mean, it's just like it's like Penhurst, the mental hospital closed up. They dumped them off here, Spring City, Royersford, everywhere they could. It's like they flocked here to Pottstown, along with all the druggies and the homeless people. And here we are. They took out all the benches along High Street. Everywhere you went, every block, they had benches you could sit on and just like, relax for stretches and stuff. Now, you couldn't find a bench unless somebody that owns a building placed it out front of the building or something. And then it usually has a sign on it, no sitting on bench or private property or, excuse me. So there's nowhere for the elderly to sit or the disabled because of these junkies, these potheads, these wackos. They all hang in front of the stores and beg change, getting drunk and high on the benches. And of course the stores complain because they don't want their customers harassed as they're coming in, and rightfully so. But, it's like taking a gun off of an honest gun owner to thwart a crook who's not going to follow the law anyway, and you know what I mean? You can make a zip gun with a hunk of pipe and a shotgun shell and a BB and a quarter. That's all you need. Well, 2 hunks of pipe. But you get what I'm saying. All you need is a firing pin or something to set off to hit the back of the shell to make it fire, and a hunk of thick pipe, and you got a shotgun. So you think that's going to stop criminals from carrying guns? They'll make their own guns if they had to. I guarantee you that. Matter of fact, there's tutorials on how to make them on YouTube. You can make a zip gun. Well, that's what they called them in the 70s, late 70s, 80s. What they call them now, I don't know. Look at all these cars. I mean, this is like Atlantic City Boardwalk. They just run up and down the street, or South Street in Philly. And there's only 2 stores on this block. There's only 2 stores. I mean, in this area. What the hell was that? Was that a gunshot? Or somebody hit something, it sounded like. There's only 2 stores. As far as, like, to buy anything. Like, we have a laundromat. There's a Chinese store. But I think that should be closed by now. Let me see. Yeah, it's after 11. I think they closed maybe 10, 11, or 12. They might be still open, but they're getting ready to close if they are open. And when I say stores to buy stuff, I mean like the Aki store is like a little mom and pop store. They sell everything from sodas to candy bars, bread, whatever. And the head shop, well, they sell head shop items, bongs, water pipes, accessories. And from what I see, they get a lot of customers. So there's a lot of weed heads out there and in this town. More so than, you would think. And I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking white people, young people, old people, fat people, skinny people. I've seen all age ranges and ethnicities go into that store. I'm talking like old white men. I'm thinking, man, old hippie, you know? So yeah, it's not just I'm not racial profiling or anything like this. This town was predominantly white, and when it was cruising night, it was predominantly white people cruising. So they were making a lot of the annoyances and the noise and the air pollution, from their car exhaust and all that other crap they were doing, and the drugs and the crime that came with it. So yeah, I agree. It should have been regulated, or I don't think shut down. I think was a thing. Now this is annoying. You know what I mean? People live in these buildings, and you're sitting right here. That's a difference. If you were, the strip was from the hospital all the way down to the where the police station is now. So that's about a 3 mile run almost. So was it loud? Yes, because it was bumper to bumper cars. You could hear like all these stock engines and all these souped up cars, and sometimes they would smoke their tires, and it got loud. Radios blaring, all the windows down in the car. Here, he turns it off just so I stick my camera out there. Isn't that funny? But this is just as bad. Do you understand what I mean? It's just as annoying. And then they sit down in their cars smoking weed, and you can hear the prostitutes coming up to them saying, "You want to go out back? Take me out back. Well, anyway." So anyway, but you understand what I mean? Propositioning people in cars, and it's like, what are the cops doing about this? I don't understand this. They're just letting this happen, and it ain't getting better. It's getting just worse. Now, just like any bad areas, like Kensington, Philadelphia, outside of Kensington, Philadelphia, I would say it's safer to walk around in the daylight here. I could cross the street real quick and avoid all this, section. And usually by then, like most of your crackheads and druggies are like vampires. You know what I mean? They live the nightlife and then they're home sleeping. Come, as soon as the rooster crows. You know what I mean? When the when the cock crows, they're home in bed sleeping. But so you're pretty much safe during the day. That doesn't mean there ain't your stragglers that will follow you to the store and try to rob you. So you still got to keep your head on a swivel. But I like if there was a fire and I had to go outside now, I would take my mace and a couple weapons with me. I would still go out there with weapons. But like during the day, it's kind of different atmosphere. You know what I mean? I hear a phone ringing now. What is going on? Sounds like somebody's calling somebody out front. But it is a little different. You got more people walking around, more witnesses, more, you know what I mean? It would be less likely for something to happen. You'd almost have to make it happen by disrespecting someone or creating an argument or a happenstance. But at night, man, I wouldn't walk my dog out here at night. He's going to have to hold it till morning or poop in the corner. I hang him out the window, plop it on their heads. Now, every time I put my camera phone to the, see, every time I put my damn camera phone to the window, they shut up. But as soon as I pull it away, they start beep, 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 and their music goes up or something loud. There's somebody across the street there. I don't know. I can't see too good. But my question is, what is this township doing about this? Other than leaving it happen, they got York Street for since the 1970s, probably prior to that. This is as far back as I can remember. This street up here, Washington, going up this way, not this way. This is High Street. Washington going up was the drug corridor, all the way up to Beach, and then it would branch off like down Beach a little ways, down Walnut, down Chestnut, down the alleyways, Union Alley. That was all drugs. Now It's all York Street across from the police station. I mean, you can't go nowhere down there to the police station where you don't run into a heroin or a fentanyl addict nodding out, throwing up, or trying to borrow something from you or follow you to rob you. It's ridiculous. And ODs everywhere all over this town. And then now you got this. This is like all new to me. I used to be able to walk these streets at night and no one would bother you. No, nobody. Now I wouldn't walk to the store this late at night if I could see, and I'm blind from diabetes, so I wouldn't even attempt to walk to the store. I used to run these streets all over the place. Now, if I was strapped with an AR-15, I wouldn't walk these streets. Because 9 times out of 10, I'd end up having to use it. And that's no joke. I'm not, it's. Some people might think you're joking. No, it's that bad out here. It's not just the way they drive. It's everything they do. They're self entitled. They live their lives like the world owes them a living. And you're in their way, and yada yada yada, and you know what I mean? You owe them respect, but they don't have to show you one iota of respect. And I'm not. I don't live like that. I don't. You don't give none. You sure hell ain't getting none. Even under death, you can shoot me in the head. You ain't getting no respect. You give none, you ain't getting none. So that's why I stay in the house, because I don't put up with much tartary. And this is what I'm talking about. They have no respect for. There's people all along here, all along this track, all along here that live in these buildings and across the street that just heard that horn. Why? Why are you blowing the horn? Go home. What are you hanging out here for? Afraid you're going to miss a sale on weed or something? In case they drop the price? I just don't get it. And see, South Street in Philly, that was a place to go on a weekend. They had a TGIFs there. You could go eat, hang out. They had pizza shops. There was so much activity down there to do. And it was for entertainment. And I'm sure there was people living in them buildings and stuff like that above you. But, I mean, it was what it was. It was South Street in Philly. It's always been like that since the 60s. And I'm sure they have their share of crime, but I don't think it's anything like this. This is just a major drug dealer thug hangout. That's what I would call it. Wannabe thug. Come here and test the waters. Learn how to be a good thug. And anywhere there's weed, if you have one person that smokes weed in this building, they'll infiltrate here, and then the next thing you know, they're all smoking downstairs, and it's coming up through the floorboards. And I'm getting a pretty high. Actually, what I get is an asthma attack and a headache. Because whatever they're putting in the weed these days can't be healthy for you. It immediately sends my nose, like, tickles my nose, and it clogs it immediately up. And then I get a hellacious headache with it, and then I start coughing. I got 2 inhalers over there. I know you can't see them back in there, but so whatever they're putting in that weed, it's even in the smoke they exhale, is just some raunchy stuff. I wouldn't want to, the government. We accuse China of releasing the COVID. We say, yeah, it was formed in a laboratory and let loose on the public, just like Lyme disease was with the ticks and all that from the CDC. And what do you think they're doing to the weed? If it's a government facility growing it in a laboratory, what the hell you think they're putting in that? Pesticides, Agent Orange, all kinds of other things, and they're giving it to you. Yeah, it is from a laboratory. It makes you 10 times higher than the weed you can grow in your backyard. What the hell you think they're putting in that weed? Yet all these people are smoking it up like it's a vape gun. You know what I mean? So not only do they deserve what they get for taking blankets with smallpox in it, just like I was arguing with an Indian woman one time online. She said, "It's my body, my choice." And I said, "You do know that's government propaganda to get you to kill your children, just like they did back in the Old West when they handed you blankets with smallpox in it. They were trying to kill you. Of course, they want your population dummied down so they can control you, you dumb thing. And here you are falling for the propaganda. My body, my choice. No, it should be your child. He's precious. The Great Spirit gave you that child to protect, you know what I mean? Nurture, grow, and teach your ways and pass along your knowledge to. Not murder in the womb, you dumb thing, you. I called her a few choice words, but you know what I mean? Because she was coming down on me because I was Christian and I was pro life. And that's exactly what it is. If you look at statistics, real statistics, it's usually ethnic babies that are murdered at a high rate, blacks, Hispanics, and then white is somewhere low on the chart. You understand what I mean? Like, let's say 80,000 blacks are murdered a year. That's just my number. It's probably way, way more than that, millions and millions. But and then you have Hispanics under that, just under that, at like, let's say that was 20 million. They're at like 11 million, and then you come down a chart, and it might be like maybe 98,000 white babies are aborted each year. So if anybody should be crying neglect or intolerance toward the government, it's them. They're falling for this Planned Parenthood bullshit, and it's all government backed to thin the herd. Less sheep, we're easier to control. They don't have to nuke us or give us radiation to the point where we all get cancer and die, which they are doing. Every time you get an MRI, I guarantee you're getting way over the limit you need in your body to get the MRI. The last MRI I took, they over radiated me and I was sore for like 2 months. So yeah, they weren't helping my cancer, they were helping me get cancer. Likewise with everything else they do in the United States. They're not here to help you. You think what? The government's paying off the media to lie to you. Why would they help you? Oh, we got a laboratory tested weed. It's 10 times stronger than the other weed, and it'll calm you down. It's a mood stabilizer. You want to be happy? Here, smoke some of this with Agent Orange in it and weed pest control, or weed killer in it, or pest controller in it, or whatever the hell they're sticking in it. Could be lead, could be anything. You know what I mean? It could be mercury. And these kids are eating it up like it's candy. I don't understand these people. I'd rather make my own drugs at home. At least I know what's in it. You know what I mean? Grow your own weed. It's ridiculous. I was watching a show, I think it was on Hulu one time. It was called The Outsiders. These mountain folk were living on a mountain. And of course, the government there was coal in the mountain, and they wanted to frack the mountain and get the coal out. And the hillbillies had been living there for generations. I mean, generations. And they said, nah, you're not going to do that to our mountain. They protested, of course. And they had protested previous years before and won by, Mexican standoff style. And they tried it again, this big corporation. So what they do is they dropped some kind of barium type material on the mountain, and it would have killed them all off in 20 years. So they poisoned the animals, they poisoned the rivers, they poisoned them. So when the new plants grew up, because they were, hunter gatherers, they hunted meat, but they also, which ate the plants, and they also planted stuff. So they planted their own crops, corn, and so forth, carrots, vegetables. And as they ate this stuff, it was growing up through the. So you can hear how loud it is. I'm just waiting for gunshots. That's why I'm recording around the clock. But as the generations or that generation, grew up eating these plants, they would be gone in like 20 years. Their children would die out too from all this cancer they would have got from whatever they dumped in the soil. And they tested the soil and the creek water around where they were living. Now this is all fictitious, of course, but um, they tested the water around there, and there was dead animals laying there. The fish were dying. So yeah, I mean, if somebody is capable of doing that, why wouldn't they do that? Because, like I said, less sheep. The boot of tyranny doesn't have to step as hard on your neck. That coupled with alteration, putting subliminal messages in things, or just pushing certain things on through the media and commercials at you, different things like that. Basically, programming you. That's what they're doing from school all the way up to your adulthood. They do it all the time. Commercials. They do it in movies. They do it everywhere. Books, magazines. Excuse me. I don't know. I can't smell weed, but my nose is closing up. I can't smell it, but they're probably smoking it out front because the air just got like hard to breathe. Anyway, yeah, there's certain techniques and it's not just mind and mood altering substances. I mean, I've been in a couple programs lately because I became homeless from being evicted, a landlord tenant dispute. Actually, it was a tenant landlord dispute. She was a scumbag, hoarder, cat lady, nasty, bed bug ridden, nasty person I've ever met in my life. And, you know, I just, that doesn't even describe it. It was a nightmare beyond words. So, anyway, roof leaking for 5 years. When they finally ripped open the roof, there was millions, not hundreds, millions of termites. I mean, that place was just ready for the bulldozer. And she had the audacity to keep collecting our rent and going, "What's wrong with this house?" Well, if you don't know, that's the problem. If you want to live like Dirty Sally, that's your problem. It shouldn't be made ours. We didn't have an oven to cook in. I mean, it was just foul. I seen cleaner abandoned buildings with furniture in it. So anyway, uh, I got evicted from there, and I was in a couple different programs, and they pushed the psychiatric agenda. Do you need mental health? Are you sure you don't need mental health? Because we can get you on meds tomorrow. I'm telling you. It's like, no, why? And they try to stress you out to the point where you want to drink. Do you understand what I mean? Oh, well, oh, you're upset. You need mental health. Are you sure? Because we'll get you mental health, and then we'll box you in. You can go to the center where there's a whole bunch of other mentally health people there, so you could be around your kind. I want to get on Depakote and go be around other people on Depakote. Are you out of your minds? Same way with drunks too. They get you clean and sober. Now you got to go hang with the herd, which is your kind. Well, I might as well just go sit in the bar with the drinkers then. I mean, they're drunks. They're just active drunks. What's the difference? Oh, no, these ones don't drink. They'll teach you how to be sober. Well, I learned how to be sober. You just don't pick up a drink. It's a choice. I've been doing that for 20 years and it's working. So why do I need to go be around people just like me? Every time I went to AA and NA, it was, and I'm going to use some harsh words, but it was either to get laid or to go out and find somebody to get high with. Literally, drunk or high with. It worked out that way every time. So therapy never helped me, not even once. I mean, I picked up some coping strategies that I got in my toolbox, good advice. But other than that, you know what I mean? It was useless, futile. It wasn't until I went to church that I actually realized that Bill W. and the psychiatrist that wrote the 12-step program literally plagiarized, whether consciously or subconsciously, they plagiarized the 12 steps from Christian principles, taking a searching moral inventory of yourself daily. That's the Bible says, test yourself to see if you're in the faith. Give yourself a test every day to see, am I walking in the right on the right path? Am I walking with Jesus? Am I walking, am I a Christian? Am I being real, or am I shallow and phony? So basically, you could go through the whole making amends whenever available. That's a Christian. We make amends. We forgive freely because we've been forgiven. They stole the principles from Christianity. The only difference there is their higher power can be a head of lettuce or a doorknob or their sponsor or whoever, you know. Sky Daddy, the Earth, the Moon, the stars, whatever floats their boat as their higher power can be. Now, a Christian's of course is Yahweh, Elohim, the God of the universe, the God of the Jews, the God of the Bible, which means His Son is our God too, because three part Godhead. So anyway, yeah, that's the only difference. So I figured that out, early, and just got away from all the drug lifestyle and the wackos and the druggies that just want to drag you down. I look at people in two categories. They're either anchors that want to weigh you down, or they're stumbling blocks. They want to make you stumble. Do you understand what I mean? So, and that's everywhere I went. That's AA, NA, and including, not to miss out, but church also. There are people there that just want to see you do bad. I'm sorry to say it, but not everyone is a Christian. There's more goats in the church than there are sheep. So now, with that said, you gotta like maneuver your canoe around all them people and through and get what you need. So I lost my train of thought and all that, but you get what I'm saying. It's oh, I think I was talking about choice. It's actively a choice, and you've got to sift through what the government's trying to do to you, the phonies, the politics, the lies, the deceptions, the deceit. So I kind of live my life like everybody's a liar. I'm from Arkansas. You got to prove it to me. I'm from the show me state. You understand what I mean? You got to show me. I got to see it to believe it. I'm a doubting Thomas when it comes to human beings. I am. I believe every word of the Bible. There are no discrepancies in the Bible or contradictions. It's just enigmas that are hard to understand. Now, with that said, when I treat when I look at the Bible, I look at it as God speaking to me. You know what I mean? When I look at people, I go, because the Bible even says every man is a liar. All men are liars. Only God tells the truth. It doesn't say some, a few, or there's a couple bad seeds, or well, there's a few guys that tell white lies. No, a lie is a lie is a lie. So they're all liars. So what that tells me is you don't trust anything anybody says. So if you don't prove it to me, I ain't believing it. I don't care how much you sell it, or how good you sell it, or how good it looks on billboard or cardboard or paper. I don't believe it until I see it for myself. So I don't trust. There's no trust in the government because all politicians. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter, a Biden supporter. I don't care what you support. Every branch, the left wing, the right wing, the Republicans, the Democrats, are all a bunch of crooks. All of them. All of them out for themselves. Whether Trump did good for the country or bad, and Obama did bad or good, they're all crooks. The Clintons, all of them. I don't think I ever met an honest politician. Now, outside of Ronald Reagan, I think there are presidents that stepped into office with very good intentions. I really believe that. Then there's other ones that might have started out with good intentions and ended up like Nixon. You understand what I mean? But I think he was corrupt to begin with. Now, look at that. See, you got people walking in the. What are they doing? What the heck are they doing? They ain't even in the bike lane. Kind of like. But it all falls down to the character of the man. The more I see this world, and that's what I'm gonna surmise this in one sentence here, or phrase I should say, the paragraph. The more I encounter the world, the less I see honor, integrity, morals, values, principles, just going out the window. It's do what you feel. It's more like Aleister Crowley and his Satanic Bible. Do what thou wilt. That's basically what I see this world becoming. It's do what makes you feel good. Hedonism is the, what do you call it, of the day. Do you understand what I mean? The choice for the day. It's do what makes you feel good. Not what's right, not what's wrong, but do what makes you feel good. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter to people nowadays. There's no ethics, there's no morals, there's no values anymore. There's no standards, there's no right or wrong. It's all gray area. And the more I hate this world, I'd rather move to a cave or a mountain cabin and just live by myself. I mean, it's just ridiculous. If I could find one with a little country store that sold my brand of potato chips, I'd be out of here already. I'm kidding. I don't have a brand of potato chips, but you know what I mean. Hot and cold running water with a little bit of satellite dish or cable. I'd be gone. And some Wi-Fi. Yeah, definitely need the Wi-Fi. But the further away from people you get, the better you are. It's sad to say. I'd rather be around animals than people nowadays. It's beyond introvert or introverted. It's just people are useless bags of skin to me anymore. They're, the majority of them are self-entitled, just egotistical, me, look at me, notice me, it's all about me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around people. You'd find that a lot of people would say, well, you'd find that a lot out in California. You got pop stars and movie stars and, egocentric people. And no, it's everywhere now. This generation is just, they're all growing up to be like that. It's not about quality anymore. It's about quantity. And it doesn't matter if it's junk. I need a new one. I broke that one. That was $300. Now give me another one. I owe it. I deserve it. It's mine. It's mine. Give it. You know what I mean? It's just, what a world we live in. It's not, be a good steward and take care of what you got because that's a good quality item and it'll last you 20 years. No, these kids nowadays are like punching TVs, getting, dropping them. Dropping them off, balconies and, oh, I'll just get me another one or dad will buy me another one. I mean, they don't care. They don't care. It's not about quality anymore or being a good steward to take care of what you got. It's, oh, well, I wrecked that car. Dad'll get me another one. Doing Tokyo drifts and burnouts, and it's this generation. It's a generation of just, I don't cares. And they all play the role of, oh, we have sympathy, we have empathy, we care about people, tear down the statues that are hate and this, that, and the other. But really, they're just trying to cover up history. They're not really trying to change the world, because if they were, charity begins at home, right? So does change. Change begins at home. Act like you want to change the world. Stop acting like the world owes you a living, and you know what I mean. Start treating even a pencil with some kind of like respect, and it'll last you a lifetime. You get what I'm saying? Be a good steward with what you have, and be happy with what you have. The guy next door might own a pen, and all you have is a pencil. But if you treat that pencil right, it'll probably outlast that pen. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's going to buy four more pens, and you're still going to be writing with your pencil because you decided to treat it with respect, and you know what I mean. He depended on his daddy because he's living at home to buy him a new pen every 4 months because he keeps throwing it against the wall or whatever. Bad example, but you know what I'm saying. Bad analogy, but and they park here for hours and hours. What is this? What is it? I could see if there was a movie screen over there and you were watching a movie. What's the deal here? Why is this what you want to do? And call this a night out on a Friday or Saturday night? Let's drive to somebody else's block, sit out in front of their house for hours, smoke weed, and we'll call that recreation. We'll call that fun because the hockey store's open and there's a head shop here. Is that what you call fun on a Friday night? I mean, that's pathetic. At least when we were kids, we got out and did crap. Four-wheeling, snowmobiling. Do you understand what I mean? We made trails to the woods so we could ride dirt bikes. These kids are like, ambition is real low. They got donuts. You know what I mean? We can go get a donut after we smoke some ganja. Yeah, man, let's sit here for 14 hours and do nothing and beep our horns. And I mean, even the '70s show kids had more ingenuity than that. They set up a basement where they had TV and a couch to sit on and some chairs. What is this? Yeah, I don't get it. Not one of them even brought a grill or a keg of beer with them. I don't get this. Now, if this was my generation, we would have had a truck here with a keg in the back covered up with a pile of junk so the cops couldn't see it, and we'd be all tailgate partying and sitting on the back of the truck drinking, you know what I mean? Paper cups full of beer. These kids have no ambition or ingenuity. Yeah, that's all they want to do. Beep, make noise. Matter of fact, we had more ingenuity than that. We'd go to the woods, build a bonfire as big as a house, and we'd get a party on. Have tents set up, you know what I mean? Lounge chairs we stole from our garage, and we'd get in trouble the next day for. Have you seen our camping chairs? No, Dad. You know. Meanwhile, they're out in the wood all wrecked up because some drunk person sat in them and fell over and bent it up. But yeah, I mean, hanging on a street and you call that fun? I don't see the fun in it. I might be missing something, but that must be one heck of an Aki store. They got something in the chocolate in their Kit Kat bars. I don't get this. Why they have to come here and line? I mean, there's like, I would say at least 15 slots up to the store, maybe 20. I don't know. I never really counted them. But that's 20 slots. Now, a couple of them look empty right here. But usually on a Saturday or Friday night, they're full. Every one of them slots is full. There, he probably just hit the weed pipe and he's choking on it. Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get this at all. And believe me, this is Pennsylvania. There's places to go. There's rock quarries you can hang out in. There's the Pagoda up in Reading. It's a Chinese style roofed kind of landmark. I don't know what you want to call it, but you could climb up that and you could sit there with your cars. We used to go up there and hang out and party, and there's places to go. You know, you got Hershey Park, you got Hershey's Chocolate Factory you could hang out at and just do stuff. You don't have to sit here like a bunch of, 70 show rejects that don't have a Mr. Foreman's basement to get high in. This is just strange. And I know there's going to be people out there to say, well, when you were young once, you did the same thing. Well, of course I did, but again, I did it with a little more effort and a little more ingenuity. We didn't sit out in parked cars. We might have sat in our driveway and did this in a van or something, but we didn't specifically drive. Let's drive to Walmart and sit there and get high all night. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? That'd be like picking a neighborhood and just parking all along the street so others can't park there and just sitting there all night beeping your horns and playing loud music and yelling to one another and getting high. Every town across America's got to have like a lover's lane or a lover's leap or whatever you want to call that. And we do too. It's right up at Sanatoga. Cotillo's right behind there. There's a little park we all used to meet, and it's a two-sectional park. There's a parking area up here with pavilions and picnic tables, and then down below there's another section, and then there's another road and a lake. And we all used to gather right there and do what we do as teenagers. And that is two point, I don't know, not even 2 miles down that way. That's how close it is. We had Ringing Rock skating rink. We had there was all kinds of things to do in this town. So it's just these kids. They have no vision, ambition. This is what they call fun. Then again, they might not have any money to do said things because it's all in stocks, bonds, and weed, minus the stocks and bonds. I mean, I guess. I know that you couldn't smoke half the weed they smoke nowadays in a motel room. Everybody on the floor would smell it. So I get why they're not hanging in motels. I get that. But problems like that can be solved too. You park your car away from the motel, like say, a block away or something, and you walk up to your car and smoke, and then you walk back to the motel. And you may smell like weed, but at least the motel room won't, and half the motel won't know what you were doing. But even my sister said it the other day. She smelled it on people's clothes before, and you can. It's that strong. It clings to everything: your car, your clothes. I'm just waiting. It's Saturday night. I'm waiting for something to kick off. Like I said, last week. I don't know if it was during the week or on the weekend, Sunday or Saturday. There was a fist fight right here where my finger is. Some guy was messing with a long-haired guy, his wife and him, and mostly his wife. And he got tired of it, walking up the street. He turned around, chased the guy down the street, back toward the hockey store, threatening to do all kinds of horrible things to him. And he kept messing with his wife. And they were just out here again the other night. I think it was the same lady and the dog. And she had the cops here. I have that on video. I think that was the same girl. And the same gentleman was messing with her again. So she called the cops, and 3 or 4 cops showed up. So yeah, whoever it is I would probably guess he's mentally unstable. The one that's doing the picking. But her husband wasn't with her the other night. Last night, I think it was last night or the night before. I think it was her that called the cops this time. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that crew, that threesome. I don't know, but that's just one incident in many, many incidents here. There's hookers, there's all kinds of stuff. Like I said, my cable guy, you might have heard it in previous videos, but I'll keep telling it until somebody hears it. My cable guy came to install my router box and my cable about a week and a half ago, maybe knocking on 2 weeks. And he came back in from out back. He asked me, how do I get out back? Do I have to walk around the whole block, or can I go through one of the emergency doors? I said, yeah, I think you have to get down to the second floor, go out the emergency door, and then climb down the fire escape, and then boom, you're outside or out back. So he did that, I think. And when he came back in, he said, John, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He goes, do you have hookers in the building? I said, not to my knowledge. He goes, well, you have a sign on the back door saying there's no hookers allowed in the back doors or in the building altogether. And I said, well, I'd like to get a picture of that. And he said, I already did. I said, good, keep it, because we might be calling on you later. So I called my landlord because they defecated at the bottom of the steps. And this is a secure building, right? It's supposed to be locked up tight. And they peed down there, and you could smell it strong coming in the door. And I just moved in, and I had about a month later, I had my futon bed delivered to me. And of course, the poor guy that delivered it, one of the owners of the shop, had to step over all that to get upstairs. And I kept apologizing to him. And I said, look, I'm new to the building. I'm going to get with the landlord about it. So after that, they broke the front door. And now it's permanently broke. So you can just come on down to my building and rob whoever you want. But the good news is, if you call 911, their response time is pretty dang quick. So they can get in also. So it kind of evens itself out, yin yang. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Bad thing, drug dealers can get in, but a good thing that so can the cops now. So they won't need a key. You know what I mean? They won't have to beat the door in, or you don't have to throw your keys down to them from the third floor. They can just get right in. So I think it quieted it down for about a week, and now it's starting to rev up again. You know what I mean? Like this. You know what I mean? It was quiet for about a week and a half, maybe a week. So I'm sure it's going to quell it, but it's not going to put a stop to it 100%. These kids just, what the heck is that flashing I'm seeing? Anybody else seeing that flashing on camera? I thought it was cop lights, but yeah, I don't see no cop lights. But it looked like it, like right in here when I was looking at this, it looked like it was strobing, like cop lights do. Could be me. Anyway, long story short, I'm just gonna call this a vlog, but it's more or less about these parkers here. They park right here. And these slots go all the way down to Redner's. And again, if you're familiar with Pottstown, you know how far away that is. So there's plenty of parking down the street. They can sit down there and party. Matter of fact, they could park right in front of the bank. There's nobody there. They can make as much noise as they want. Beep, holler, scream at one another, beat each other in the head with your bumpers, whatever you want to do. And nobody would, it's not bothering anybody because there's an empty bank sitting there, a big building. No, they got to park right in front of your house. And, hey, man, what's up? You got that good stuff? Bring it on over to my car. I'll turn up my radio and we'll get high. I mean, it's nuts. Take that stuff somewhere else. Go get high in the woods and, you know what I mean? Watch out for Smokey the Bear. You'll probably be seeing Bigfoot and shit. So, yeah, I mean, what the hell? I don't know. It's just wackos. And like I said, it's all over town now. The 70s, this was the drug corridor next to where I'm living, the Washington Street. Now it's down on York Street, way downtown. But it's spreading out all over the place. It used to be just sections of Pottstown. Don't go up there. That's the bad section, that type thing. Just like Philly, it's Kensington. You don't go down to Kensington at night. You'll without a bodyguard and a lot of ammo. But now it's just like everywhere. Everywhere you sit, everywhere you go, everywhere you look. You can't go shopping without it. You can't ride the bus without, a crackhead or a nitwit doing something. You see I'm not lying to you. That was strobing over there. See it right there? Right there. I don't know what the heck that is. I thought they were cop lights for a minute there, but it's just everywhere. And I'm not so much complaining, I'm just going, I'm scratching my head going, what are the cops doing about this? I mean, there used to be regular raids. You saw SWAT vehicles in like Amazon Prime vans or bread trucks or like UPS trucks. That's what they look more like. Raiding people. There was helicopters in this town like so loud it hurt your ears. That's how loud the helicopter was. Buzzing neighborhoods that chased the drug dealers off the corners. When the drug dealers heard that chopper coming, they were like scattering, man. They thought, it was going to be a raid. So they used to buzz neighborhoods with loud helicopters just to get them off the corners. Now it's like they went to the other extreme. They went from doing everything they could to stop it to, well, we're not going to do nothing at all. I'm just self-governed. Maybe they'll die out like a dying breed. They'll all overdose on fentanyl or something. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's like, I don't get it. If they come here and do that on this corner, the corner would quiet down for at least 3 months. You'd have 3 months of nice, quiet, peaceful, relaxing, no bull crap. You know what I mean? Then it would probably pick back up. And they'd have to do it again. Or the township could go to the Aki store and say, hey, can you close at 11 and reopen at 6 a.m.? You know what I mean? That would chase a lot of these crazies, wackos, weirdos, heads, junkies, whatever you want to call them, home for the night. They'll have to go to Wawa for their goods, which is way at the other end of town, and they can go bother somebody else. I mean, all the other stores in town are closed already. You got Rite Aid that's closed right down the street. You got Renner's closed already. The diner's closed. They started closing at 11 or even prior to that. One of the best hot dogs, one of the most famous ones too, the very best hot dog shop in town. They're only open for lunch now. They used to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner hours. So yeah, now they're just 11 to 3. That's all they're open for. And I'm not saying the Aki store can't make money. I guarantee you they're making tons of money because I see people coming in and out of there ordering what looks like to be probably pre-made sandwiches or something like that, like roast beef sandwiches, hoagies, something. They're carrying bags of food out of there all the time. They'll park. They'll park here, walk across here, and then you'll see them coming back with their bags and leaving. So they're making money. It's not like they are going to go broke if they close just for a couple hours. Heck, even 12 to 6 or 1 o'clock in the morning, close by 1. That way, these guys would have to shut down at 1 o'clock and go home. So at least I could get some sleep from 1 o'clock until 7 a.m., get what I need done, and then they'll be back by, dusk, dark. Not just me, but you got old folks center there. You got another center over here of disabled people and old people. I mean, right, catty corner from one another across the street. There's a lot of old people in this town and disabled people. And where the lights are right there over here, there's people living above them, in that building and on down the street. They're all buildings full of people. Nobody wants to hear this. And to my shame and astonishment, it is actually quieter tonight than it usually is. It's usually much louder than this. For what is it, a Saturday night going into Sunday? Yeah, it's much louder. They're actually being quiet. Ish. So before I close this video out, which I'm getting ready to do because I babbled long enough for a vlog. Hold on here. Oh my gosh, my hips, knees, everything. But I just want to give you some better view and idea of what I'm talking about here. Now hear that? That car's running down there. And they're all lined up all the way down to the Aki store, all the way up here. That guy's got his lights on, it looks like. And there's at least 3 or 4, 5 cars that people are sitting in right down below me. Why? Go home. Go feed your goldfish. Go clean your room. I bet your mom would say, hey, good job, son. Here's a little bit of allowance or something. A little gas money for you. So here's the other end of it. See, they're sitting in their car. They just pulled off. They're sitting in their car. They're sitting in their car right here. I don't know if you can see my finger. There it is. These guys. There's a car right there that's on. Why? Go home. It's like a motorcycle gang that went rogue and bought cars. You know what I mean? Instead of sitting out here on their bikes, showing you how tough they are, they all went home and bought cages, and now they're sitting in their cages getting high. And this is what why aren't the cops like coming here? And even if a cop pulled up and sat here for 20 minutes, that would scatter every one of these, and you'd be able to tell who's doing criminal activity because all the ones that are doing it would scatter. You know what I mean? or here for nefarious reasons, or other than, hey, I'm going to the Aki store soda. Yeah? I just don't get this town. I don't. And like I said, right now there's no loud music on. They're not hollering back and forth like they usually do. It just sounds like they're talking now. It's much, much louder than that on a regular night. There goes the horns. Now again, you got to remember what time it is. It is now 12:02. Any town across America, usually the noise curfew is what, 10 o'clock at night, maybe? Some towns even invoke no kids out after 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. So if they see a kid walking after a certain period, he's in trouble with his parents and the township, because they're going to take that kid home and wonder why he's outside that late at night. Now, of course, these are probably adults. They're probably all over 21, but they sure act like they're 12 to 15. Yeah. They love this alleyway here. There's a lot of traffic down this alley now. Like I said, I lived here most of my life, a good portion of it. Didn't grow up here. I grew up in Limerick, right outside of this town, but started visiting Pottstown when I was 16. I'd be here every weekend, all weekend long. I'd sleep at friends' houses, or sometimes I'd walk back home, which is probably a 3-mile walk. It's not that far, but I come up here to party. And I've never seen the traffic that this alleyway is getting now. I mean, they sneak Sally down that alley every couple minutes. You'll see people pouring out of that, especially in the mornings. So I think that's one of the ways they avoid the cameras, because they're every stoplight, red light there's a dome camera above there, and it does zoom, and I think it does 360. To see license plate numbers and vehicles and stuff like that. They installed them about 10 years ago, I guess it was. Maybe late 90s, 2000, I don't know, something like that, 20 years ago. Yeah, I forget. They started installing them, and they're all the way down to the hospital, all the way going toward the village. So if there's a red light, there's usually if you look up on top, there's a dome camera or some kind of camera up on it. So they don't have to track your phone or GPS you. They can just watch you come right up High Street if they want to. Which makes me scratch my head again, because there's cameras. Why are they hanging here doing illegal shit? I mean, who's watching these cameras on these poles? If the police are, well, they got to know they're up to something here. Wouldn't you think? I mean, they park here every Friday to Sunday with their lights on, their car engines running in and out of the Aki store, and I mean, they got to know they're doing something nefarious. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done babbling. I'm getting tired now, but this is it. This is Saturday night. And they'll be back tomorrow night as soon as it gets dark. And the noise, fluctuates, I guess, now that I don't know, maybe they're being quiet on purpose. They can hear me babbling up here. I don't know. But usually it's much louder. The closer you get to the Aki store, the louder they seem to get too. You can hear a lot of the noise coming from that direction. All right, y'all. I'm ending this vlog. I just wanted to show you how they turn around here. It's ridiculous. All right.